William Shakespeare does not ask us to admire him. He does not ask for reverence or obedience or scholarly devotion. He asks only that we look. And this, perhaps, is why he is so often misunderstood. For many encounter Shakespeare too early, too rigidly, too defensively. They are told that he is important before they are allowed to feel that he is human, and so they turn away. But Shakespeare is not a monument. He is not a puzzle designed to exclude. He is not a test of intelligence. He is an invitation to recognize ourselves. Shakespeare belongs to an ancient tradition, one older than books, older than universities, older than classrooms, the Greek tradition of theatre, a tradition that understood something essential, that human beings do not learn best through instruction, but through recognition. The stage was not built to lecture, it was built to reflect, to hold a mirror up to nature, to allow men and women to see themselves, not as they wish to be, but as they are. In this sense, Shakespeare is not telling stories. He is revealing human life. He shows us ambition not as an abstract sin, but as a living force, burning, seductive, and ruinous. He shows us jealousy, not as a moral failing, but as a poison that feeds on imagination. He shows us love, not only in its beauty, but in its haste, its blindness, its recklessness. He shows us power, how it distorts judgment, how it isolates, how it corrodes the soul. He shows us grief, madness, joy, cruelty, mercy, hope, and despair. And he does so, without preaching. This is one of his great gifts. Shakespeare does not divide the world neatly into heroes and villains. He knows better. His villains are not monsters. They are recognizably human. They reason. They justify. They persuade themselves. And his heroes are not pure. They doubt. They hesitate. They err. They fall. This is not moral confusion. It is moral honesty. Shakespeare understands that human beings are not single things. We are mixtures, capable of generosity and pettiness, of courage and cowardice, of tenderness and brutality, often within the same hour. To encounter Shakespeare properly is to encounter this complexity without flinching, and in doing so, to feel less alone. This is why his characters endure, not because they are extraordinary, but because they are true. We recognize ourselves in Hamlet's hesitation, in Macbeth's hunger, in Lear's blindness, in Othello's fear, in Portia's plea for mercy, in Falstaff's laughter and self-deception. None of these figures are ideals. They are revelations. Shakespeare does not tell us what to think about them. He trusts us. He trusts the audience to feel, to judge, to reflect. This trust is rare. It is also why his work remains alive. For Shakespeare does not offer answers. He offers sight, and sight, once gained, cannot be taken away. There is great wisdom in this approach, for life itself does not arrive with explanations. It presents us with situations, with choices, with consequences. Shakespeare mirrors this reality. He allows events to unfold. He allows actions to bear their weight. He allows time to reveal truth. In this way, his plays are not lessons. They are experiences. And experience, more than instruction, is what shapes understanding. But Shakespeare is not only a dramatist of darkness and downfall. He is also a poet of joy, of wordplay, of music, of wit, of delight in language itself. His comedies remind us that life is not only tragic, but absurd, that misunderstanding is common, that pride makes fools of us all, that laughter can restore proportion where seriousness has become tyranny. He delights in speech, in rhythm, in verbal play. This joy is not decoration. It is nourishment. Shakespeare knew that to be fully human is not only to suffer wisely, but to rejoice freely. And so his world contains both tears and laughter, often side by side. This fullness is essential, for wisdom without joy becomes severity, and joy without wisdom becomes emptiness. Shakespeare offers both. This is why he cannot be reduced to a single message, a single moral, a single interpretation. He is not a doctrine. He is a landscape. To walk through his work is to encounter life in its many forms. And this is his great gift to the English-speaking world. Not a badge of sophistication, not a cultural ornament, but an inheritance. A body of work that teaches us how to see, how to recognize ourselves, how to understand others, how to live with greater depth, greater patience, and greater sympathy. To ignore Shakespeare is not merely to miss a writer, it is to miss an education of the heart, for in his words there is power, but also comfort. There is revelation, but also forgiveness. There is insight, but also mercy. He shows us what we are, not to condemn us, but to make us wiser, more humane, more awake. This is why Shakespeare endures, not because he is difficult, but because he is honest, not because he belongs to the past, but because he belongs to human nature itself. To take him up is not an act of reverence, it is an act of gratitude. For he offers us something priceless, the chance to see ourselves clearly and to live more fully because of it.